This episode is brought to you by Jesse Ventura's Fitness Videos. Call now to get it for $69.99.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Podcast Assemble, the show where you come for your rambling geeky download. My name's Tommy, and I am delighted, as always, to be joined by my friend and co-host, who is across a pond. It's our resident opera singing stalker of the pod, DL. How are you?
Great, man. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me.
Well, I was going to just go with stalker generally. I feel like that gives off the wrong impression to listeners, potentially.
No, the opera singer part really adds, it really adds a bit of endearing quality to the insult. So.
Imagine if this is your first time listening to Podcast Assemble and the first thing one of the co-hosts says is, my resident guest who is a stalker.
No.
I don't know how that works.
Stalker.
Yeah, I mean, you're opera singing and stalking at the same time. I mean, at least you're giving people pre-warning that you're arriving.
You're just doing concerto as...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You're coming behind them.
As you approach the house. I speak like I know, like as you approach the house. Like what house? What am I saying? I don't know. I just figured if you're a stalker, you probably would approach houses. Anyway,
houses, probably outside. You need a big trench. I imagine you've been a flashing stalker too. Like you're definitely not just classic stalker.
Some kinks. Fair enough, man. There you go.
No king shaming here.
Can we move on?
Yeah. How are you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good.
You're the one who agreed to it. You're the one who's just like plowing that joke forward. I'm all down for it.
And I called the red card. I said, "Sir,
it was time. Cut this here." Oh dear, you're funny. How was Egypt, man? How was it?
Oh man, Egypt was the coolest vacation that I need a break from.
What does that even mean?
I mean, it was really awesome. You know, it reminds me of like I went to Beijing like a long time ago, so I don't know that. I think I've heard a lot that Beijing has changed a lot. Like, there's been a lot of and just China in general. But when I went, like, there wasn't even Didi, like the writing app. Like, it was very hard to do things. But it was like the coolest, like, historical trip. Like all the landmarks are just insane. You're blown away. Nice. When you go into the Forbidden City, you see the Great Wall, and then all the stuff in between is really hard to do and difficult and sucks. You know, like finding a restaurant like that you look, because all the tools, at least for a Westerner, right? All the tools that you would use you're not allowed to use them. Like Google barely works. Anyway, my point being, Egypt was kind of similar to that in the way of like stunningly beautiful. Cairo, not a great place to be.
Why? Tell me about Cairo. That's super interesting.
It's just disgusting. Everywhere. Dirty, smog. Yeah, no, it's like really dirty city. Yeah, it literally, it's just, you drive through. It's like, well, I lived in LA for my whole life, man. I know smog.
I was gonna say,
it felt like you were breathing in a pack of cigarettes everywhere you went while getting hit in the face. That's crazy. With a sandstorm. Yeah, but I mean, like the people were amazing. They're really cool. But I just think,
of course.
Yeah, if you look up the history, there's been quite a lot going on there over the last 30 years. I think
tumultuous area
coming out of some stuff. Yeah. You're pretty like exhausted from the in between, and then we also, I mean, to be fair to Cairo, we also did this river tour down the Nile, which was really cool.
You were wait, hang on, stop. You were in Murder on the Nile.
I was riding a crocodile down the Nile.
You were literally. Was Poirot there while you were doing it, like twiddling his little mustache?
No. To be honest, they're all extinct. I was really disappointed, dude. There's no crocodiles.
Oh, that sucks. You really wanted a Nile crocodile, because that's fun to say.
Yeah. It would have been cool to say. Well, I did say it, to be fair.
But you went into the temples and stuff, right?
Yeah. So that part was really different. Like, that part was awesome. Like, everything I just said about Cairo, very different, but still exhausted because you're up at 3 a.m.
Crack it on.
Yeah, to get out to these places that are like 2 hours away sometimes. And then the events and dinner just goes till 10. So you're just not getting a lot of sleep. And
that sounds like a theme for your life.
No, it was amazing, man. It's insane. Like, it's for sure. Like, I don't know who.
What's like the highlight? What's the one thing that you have to do if you go there?
I mean, I think that there's a number of, like, if you're gonna, I guess the point is, if you're gonna do one, like, obviously you have to go see the pyramids. Like, that's like easy to do, because you could literally do that. You could fly in from like New York or wherever you are, if you're in the US, and be there within like 14 hours, see it within 2. You know what I mean? Like, that's easily doable. Yeah, it's in the middle of the city. So you can do that. But I guess my point is, if you're gonna go, you should do some kind of tour down the Nile to see all the different temples. And I mean, which one is your favorite? I mean, Luxor is pretty good. They're all pretty really, really, really cool. There's one that I'm forgetting the name of, and I'll put in the show notes or something. So we don't waste time. But that was the one where we had to get up at like
Hey, waste all the time you want. I want to know. I need to know these things. I need to
okay,
know.
well, let me look at my photos. I just don't want to butcher the name.
It's so epic though.
I got my editor in the back telling me it's Abu Simbel.
Nice.
Good.
Good.
So that temple is like, it's insane. It's like, it's really cool. I mean, it reminds you of like the Gondor kings when you're going down the river kind of thing. Like, it's just crazy what it's built into the mountain. It's that kind of stuff. It really got the creative juices flowing when I wasn't, exhausted or on work calls, because it's like end of quarter. So I'm literally taking calls from Egypt. It was pretty wild.
Trying to like burn through. Yeah.
I was trying to do both, but
brutal.
It was really cool. Yeah.
I'm obsessed with Egypt at the moment. Like ever since we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and you were telling me about like the trip and where you're going to go, and seeing all of your like, just all of your like stories on Instagram. Oh my god!
They don't do it.
I've become obsessed with it. Nah, they
don't
can't.
do it.
And that's the thing about those things. When you ever see like someone talking about it, you're always like, I need to be there. You know what I mean? Like I need to see it.
Well, even the photos, it's just like you walk in it, like, so big, and there's just like 100. I'm like, how in God's name? Like, I haven't seen anything like this in modern ages, like in like anything like it. Although like skyscrapers are impressive, but you know how they're built, right? Like, and the level of industrial like automation and cranes and that kind of stuff takes a little bit of the wonder out of them, I think, for how they're built. But these are like really, really big. And you're just like, how in God's name?
I feel like that was the biggest like letdown of like verbiage you could have possibly used there. These are like really big. Not awe-inspiring. They're not phenomenal. Yeah, they're really big.
No, they are awe-inspiring. They are. But I think that the awe-inspiring part is less about, sorry, I'm trying to look something up for you.
Go on. One thing I was going to say while you're looking that up is one thing that I was always obsessed with wanting to do. And obviously I'm 100% sure you can't do it now, but it's like, even just like 10, 15 years ago, you used to be able to like climb the pyramids. Like you see people have videos or pictures of themselves, like just walking up the side of the pyramid.
That would be exhausting, by the way. That would not be an easy thing to do.
Wouldn't it? Yeah. But how awesome would it be to be like on top of it with like, I don't like selfies, but I would absolutely take a fucking selfie from up there.
I'd be scared to do it actually, because like you're literally like these blocks, not like a step. You're climbing each block.
Yeah.
So it's basically like doing, and I'm not like the fittest guy. I'm not fit. You'd basically be doing like almost like pull-ups every time you had to get up there for like hundreds of them.
Yeah, that would.
And
that
then like
for you
at the top of the selfie, you probably just like Bambi legs, like how you die. Like, nobody was doing that, but I don't think there was any sign saying you couldn't. I think people just didn't do it.
Interesting.
Maybe they just knew.
I'm sure that used to be a thing. People, it's like Ayers Rock in Australia. Like even 5 or maybe 10 years ago, people were climbing that bloody thing, which is, I mean, sacrilege at this point, but like, would have been pretty awesome to have been able to do. So all in all, the trip was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was really cool. I highly recommend it.
I'm so jealous.
It also got me, but there's like things I want to do now, because like as I was doing research for this, I was like kind of inspired by some other stuff, which we'll talk about in a bit. There's things I want to do now that are a bit, like different than this, but similar vibes.
I'm assuming Central America.
Yeah, Mesoamerica.
Yes, I knew it. I want to go there too. We should do it together.
There's some stuff there that's like, and it's much more like what I think Egypt would have been in like the 19th century. Yeah, where like people are just like discovering things every which day. There's no roads to get there. Like it is very much a place of like, if you went and spent 2 or 3 years there just doing stuff with LiDAR, you'd probably find a discovery.
Oh,
like that's where
stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
There's have you heard of this guy named Luke Caverns?
Nope.
He's like a archaeologist who's like, but he's like modern day, right? So he's doing all these new techniques with like LiDAR, and he's focused on Mesoamerica, pre-Columbia, colonialism.
Oh, I do know this guy. He's been on Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah, he's been on, but he's got a YouTube channel. I think he's been big way before that. Yeah, it's crazy, dude. What some of the stuff he's doing, and it's
good looking dude too. You want to be? He'd be a good.
I mean, as far as archaeologists go, yeah, he's probably on the upper end of the bell curve.
He's definitely on the Indiana Jones end.
but then watching Indiana Jones in Egypt also got me like into like I want to look up this Mesoamerican stuff. So I've been doing a bunch of research, and there's just like it's basically like ancient Greece, the Mayan civilizations over there. Like it was essentially just as far along, but just the flus killed everyone. So we know a little bit less. And if you think about like how
Which is
all
so
of Western, yeah, if you think about how all of Western principles and like I guess like our core belief systems kind of just carried on from Greece and Rome because or even Greece through Rome because we had the written documentation of it all. And
Through
basically
Rome,
most of our belief systems are foundationally built off that.
Mm.
If that didn't happen, right, in the Mesoamerica, like you wonder what, would have happened, what would have come up in modern day, right? Because it was basically just erased that belief, like those kind of shared value systems. Anyway.
And you think, I mean, you can even think the same about, Australia. Like think about the indigenous peoples here. Like if white men hadn't turned up and, done what white men do.
Yeah, well, they're even old. I think they're even older, dude. Like there's like some studies that they've been like they were like the most
250,000 plus years old. Yeah.
Yeah, like kind of wild shit. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, that's super interesting. And I tell you what we did actually this week that would have been a phenomenal soundtrack to what you were up to. We went to see a 4-piece string quartet. It's like the Candlelight.
Yeah,
it's gone from my name. It's like the Candlelight Opera or something. And they did. I booked this. Obviously, it was my partner, but we went to see like a medley of like Hans Zimmer tracks, and it was amazing. You forget how many things he's done. He's done everything from The Lion King to Gladiator to the obvious ones like Interstellar, and his back catalogue, man, is phenomenal. So this little string quartet, you've seen it, right? You've seen it in Sydney.
I saw someone there. I don't know what it was, but the Candlelight thing.
Yeah, they don't always use the same quartet, but it's always a quartet. I think I've seen it before as well. We've talked about it before. I saw them do Coldplay, which was nowhere near as epic as this. But like when they kicked off, nowhere near as epic as this. They literally kicked off with
yellow. Just imagine
they did
that
do yellow, but a string quartet. It was great doing it. I mean, it's like literally one of the only songs you do. They kicked off with what's the song called? I just need to find it for you. It is the one from Time from Inception, the main track from Inception.
Oh, that one's the best. It's when they're on the plane. Yeah.
Right. I was almost upset they started with it because then it was almost like, what are you going to do from here? Everything else was amazing, obviously. Obviously,
I saw him in
everything else
too.
was amazing. Yeah, right. Okay. It's very, very good.
He's basically like, I would say he's equivalent to John Williams at this point, if not.
He's
sure. He's up there with him.
So different as well. Like I feel like John Williams has got that more classical modern feel to him. Right. I was actually looking to see if this Candlelight literally did John Williams afterwards, because I was like, that is one. Imagine having Jurassic Park, Indiana Jones, like Star Wars. My brain would explode. I was like, they need to do this one, but I don't know if there's a rights thing or whatever.
Harry Potter.
Right? I wonder if there are rights things around these, because they don't do specifically a John Williams one. They do one which is, it's really interesting. They do one which includes John Williams scores. And it was like, of all the things of his they could have chosen, they chose the most random one. It was like, and this John Williams song. And I was like, what? What?
No, John Williams does have like pretty strict royalty rights. He
does he? Okay.
It's like notorious. It's known. Like even I think the Indiana Jones game, which I might play after watching the movies again.
I want to play that, to be fair. The new one?
Yeah, there's one that came out like last year or something.
I actually bought an Xbox for it, waited for it to come out, and then as it came out, stopped playing the Xbox, and I haven't plugged it back in yet to play it.
But now it's ported to PS3 or PS5.
yeah, now it's on PS5. I'm just going to wait till it comes out in price. Ridiculous. But I reckon that would be a great soundtrack to going and seeing Egypt. Some of these amazing Hans Zimmer tracks. Oh my God, it would be so good.
Yeah, but apparently they couldn't even use the song much in that game because of...
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
So interesting. Hey guys, look, we've been talking about our week for way too long. If you want to stick around, please feel free to. There will be time codes in the description, as always supplied by Mr. Matthew Bliss of mbpod.com. And while you're down there, looking to skip around, trying to find when the next bloody thing is we're talking about, feel free to give us a 5-star review. You can do it right there in app. We would love it. It would really help us with things like algorithms, stuff we don't understand. We would love it if you would. And also subscribe. If you find us on YouTube, this is new to us. This whole video thing. Look at our pretty faces. This is new to us. You can see Dre's cat in the background at this point. Feel free to give us a subscribe, give us all those comments and reviews, things we love. That'd be great. Wonderful. Thank you, Tim. Back to the show. DL, what have you been up to, buddy?
I mean, beyond just like every other week, I think like the last 8 weeks I've been home for like 10 days. Half of it or more than half of it work, but a lot of
I
it's
can
fun.
just see Bruce just in the background popping his light up.
Yeah, he's
like
very angry about it. He's like, he's stuck at home while we travel the world. But other than that, man, I've been doing my best to crack on with a few things, some new things. I think
nice.
I've talked about, Alan Wake, which I've to death, but I'm slowly trucking through that. It's a great game. Lots of inspiration for kind of like psychological thriller stuff if you're into that. While I was on the Nile, I started Murder on the Nile by Agatha Christie.
Circular jokes, they're the best. Oh my God, you're bringing it all the way back.
Yeah, not so impressed so far, dude. Honestly, a lot of Victorian, like, we'll see. Like this person was marrying this person, and then, like it's like it's like I don't. Did you hear she had a fortune? Yeah,
and she looked at a black man. Ah!
It's just not, like I don't know. We'll see. It's famous.
Yeah,
so.
right. I mean, yeah, there's been movies and stuff made of it, obviously.
Yeah, I might just watch the movie. The audiobook is killing me with the voices.
I think Gal Gadot's in the film. I think it tanked, or they shelved it because of COVID or something.
No, there's a new really one, but I wouldn't watch that.
Yeah, that's the one. I think it tanked, or they shelved it for some reason. I mean, I honestly, I've got to the point now where I can't even watch Gal Gadot. She is the most one-dimensional actor I can possibly think of.
She's not in much anymore. I think everybody's gotten there with her.
Everyone's fully got there. Yeah, it's noticeable. As soon as you realize it, you go like, "Oh, this is bad. I get it now. Yeah. This is why she's been cut out of Hollywood."
It is something you can't really unsee.
No, yeah. Once you realize it's that one pitch, you go, and she's got that one quirky smile, and you're like, "That wasn't it. I don't know what the fuck I was doing, but that wasn't a quirky smile." Once you know it's the smile like, she does, it's
your face twitching, dude.
I was actually having a stronk. I'm just like, well. So do you recommend that book?
Not so far, but this is what I grabbed earlier. Shantaram. Is that what it is? Shantaram is an interesting book that I've been reading.
Okay, what's that about?
It's about right now. I mean, I can give you the back, but
yeah, give me the blurb. Let's do this.
Set in the early '80s, and there's a guy from Australia who basically has broken out of jail and has basically left entirely his family, his life behind, and fled black market to India. To just get away from the crimes and him breaking out. And I believe, without spoiling it, he eventually becomes a big part of the drug trade in India.
Ooh,
as an
this is quite a famous book
on the run. Yeah, it's a famous book. It's a true story. So enjoying it so far.
Yeah, I think I've heard of this before. I don't think I've ever read it though. 4.3 on Goodreads. God damn.
No, it's pretty famous.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Kind of sounds like it mirrors a little bit that Marching Powder that I've read, which is about the British guy who got stuck in prison in, oh my God, I'm going to butcher this. I think it's Peru. Shit, it's one of the South American countries. That's really bad. But the prison itself was Bolivia. That's right. Of course, it's Marching Powder. It's Bolivia. The prison itself turned out to be a front for drugs, as in the lower levels of the prison, they were actually just creating and selling drugs from. Wild. Super interesting book. Really fascinating. Also a very true story. So highly recommend going and checking about that. But Shantaram. Recommend?
I mean, I'm only 100 pages in, but I've heard good things. Some people have said it's their favorite book.
Looks like a tome. Looks like a tome.
It is for a true story. It's quite large. Usually, they only get this thick when it's epic fantasy stuff.
Yeah, right.
But no, this is a real deal. Apparently,
nice.
According to this guy, Gregory David Roberts.
I like the sound of it. I like the cut of his jib. I'll have to give it a listen. I couldn't audiobook it though because it would run out within 100 pages by the looks of it. I bet the writing's tiny as well. We did a couple of things actually that a couple of things I want to share with you, and I want to talk to you a little bit about very quickly while we're in what we've been up to. We actually rewatched this week a film we have done pretty recently on the podcast, Gladiator 2. We did it with a friend of the show, Resident Reegs, who came on.
You rewatched that?
We rewatched it. So my beautiful fiance has, you know what it is? She has this thing whereby if she sees something enough, she needs to do it or see it or buy it. It is just that repetitive thing. And the perfect person for marketing to work on without fail every time. When we were in Sorrento, she would see the dresses with the lemons on them. When we arrived, she was like, "Oh, that's kitsch." And then within 3 days, she was like, "Maybe I want one of those dresses with the lemons on them." I'm like, "No, you thought this was crap 5 minutes ago. She's literally so easily manipulated, but it keeps coming up on the top of our TV whenever we turn the whenever it's on the loading screen. And she's like, maybe we should watch it again. And then I actually went back and I re-listened to our episode. Shout out to our episode on Gladiator 2. It's one of our audio episodes. Please go back and check it out. I think you'd really enjoy it. Really good, fun episode, really silly stuff. But we were really nice to that film. Really
Were
nice.
we? I remember being angry about it. Maybe I wasn't that angry.
In total, okay, maybe you were slightly angry about it, but I think in total we all kind of came away saying it's a good film. Like it gets a lot right. The spectacle's great. Dude, I was bored.
Yeah, I don't think that's a good movie, to be honest.
I was like tripping hard, like dual screening. The question I posed, or you posed, one of us posed at the end of the film was, "Is this necessary?"
Of course.
Yeah, when it's not at all. It's the same fucking movie. And I was sitting there, and then there's a bit at the end. And do you remember? Do you remember the bit at the end when he's won? And spoilers for Gladiator 2, I guess. When he's won, and he goes back to the Colosseum, and he kneels down in the sand, and he's hand to the sand again. He's looking up at the sky, and he's like, Maximus. And you just think it's going to get a full Mufasa moment, and Russell Crowe's head's going to pop out the clouds and be like,
You
"Son,
said that on the
you
pod,
did good."
I
I was like, but it was so close to happening. I was like, this is just mind blowing how nonsensical this is. The fight with Denzel Washington at the end, a 70-year-old plus man. I was like, if you can't beat this dude, man, you are just not ready for this job. Like, come on, he's just an old man at this point.
Denzel's role, they were like kind of onto something, but
yes, agree.
But there was just like nothing new. Like, I don't know. There's so much history in Rome. I just feel like telling the same story. You didn't need, like, you could still call it Gladiator and have it not be the exact same story of like a guy that's like, you know what I mean? There was just too much 100%. Of that. It was kind of like 100%. The Force Awakens, but like less.
We said that too. We said all this too. I think we're going around in circles at this point, but yeah. But they're all the right. They're all the things. You came up with some really interesting ideas of how they could have adapted other stories in Rome. And come on, guys, do better. You know what I mean? Have you been up to anything else? Don't recommend Gladiator 2 again, by the way. If you've seen it once,
yeah, I was gonna say,
don't bother watching it. No, just don't.
Definitely not. I've been trucking along, man. I've been trucking through Sopranos. I'm enjoying it. Great show if you haven't seen it.
Where you up to?
Chris just spoilers for Sopranos.
Actually, don't spoil. I've only seen season 1, I think.
Okay.
So I'm way behind. Yeah, okay. Oh no, I know, and I kind of know some things that Chris does. I've got some. My best mate who used to live with him in Manchester and Melbourne has told me everything that happens in that show, trying to convince me to watch it. And then I was like, "Well, you just told me all the best bits. Why do I need to watch this show?"
Yeah, no, it's good. It's good so far.
Yeah, nice. I think that I'm going to talk about next week. I reckon it's not HBO, it's Apple, but it's really good. Is a show called Shrinking. I'm going to save it up for next week because it's or next time we talk, because I think you'd really like it. It's really good.
I've seen some of Shrinking.
I enjoyed it a lot.
In like the first season, I think. Yeah.
Okay, I'll come back to that. But I did want to talk to you a little bit about the third entry in James Gunn's DCU, which is the second season of Peacemaker, which I watched, and it's been out. It's been coming out. It's finished now, as in the season has all come out now. I was really excited for it. Honestly, the first season was a breath of fresh air. I pretty much loved everything about that first season. I don't know. Do you remember it? Do you remember when it came out?
Yeah, I remember like it all culminated in like a pretty funny alien bug thing.
Right.
It was pretty. Yeah, really weird. I enjoyed it. It was quite funny.
Yeah, really weird. I agreed. Had a lot going for it. This second season, it's apparently intended to set up a lot of stuff for the DCU moving forwards in terms of characters, and it's fine. Like, you know what I'm getting like a little tired of is James Gunn doing the same thing in every movie or TV show. Like, the characters are always the same quippy, relatable, broken things that you become like a found family. And this one does have some fun twists on dimensions. There's some interesting plot bits. It's actually really interesting. Another dimension that they do a whole thing about in it, which I don't want to ruin for you, but is it worth watching it for? The twist is pretty good and it's quite fun. You can get it if you really pay attention. But yeah, it's just a bit meh at this point. Like, I'm not sure what the momentum's coming from for this DCU. The Superman film didn't do well at the box office. This is
It didn't?
fine. No, I think it just broke even, if that. It had a
Mm,
really big marketing push as well. I don't know, man. I was really excited for the show, and it felt like a little bit of the same again, without really pushing anything too far forward. I don't know. I can't recommend, like, if you really like the first season, check it out.
I did.
But if
I did, and I probably will if I have time, but
and
it's just
even
not
if
high.
you did, oh, I don't know,
The
man.
reality is these things are not, they're just superhero stuff is just like, it's been going now for 30 years, 20 years, like modern. It's
Pretty
just
much.
maybe it's just
2008 was
tired.
Iron Man. Mm,
You know what I mean?
totally.
Maybe it's just tired. You can't, like, you can reinvent things so much, but like maybe people are just tired of the subgenre. That happens.
Totally. Totally. I mean, look at the Western.
Yeah,
Died.
it happens.
And maybe it's time to give superhero films a bit of a rest just for a hot minute. Who knows? Like I say, if you really liked Peacemaker season 1, maybe check it out. Even if you did, meh, you can skip
Is it
it.
funny?
Yeah, like, but it's all the James Gunn stuff. Like,
It was really funny. The first season was really fun.
don't know if I'd say it's really funny. It's funny in
Okay.
the same way that the first season was. It's not like the thing I really liked about that first season was he was different, and he's just a dude who doesn't really have any superpowers. He's pretty strong. He often falls off stuff and hurts himself. Like it's a fun, like, found family dynamic, but he's found the family, and now they had to contrive ways to break them up and put them in different places, and it felt a bit manufactured.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
Not bad.
Fair.
Not bad. Not great. Don't know. Don't love it. Guys, if there's anything that we haven't talked about that you recommend we watch, please hit us up. You can find us at Podcast Assemble or thepodcastassemble@gmail.com. We've got a website. We are obviously now on YouTube, so hit us up. Hit us up in the comments. Tell us things that we should be watching. We had a comment last week on our YouTube video saying that we didn't tell people enough about the box office for what did we talk about last time? One battle after another. We should have
Yeah.
been talking about the facts, DL. We shouldn't be trying to entertain people. You stop that immediately. You stop being funny. You just tell people what the facts about these films are, okay?
Yeah, I don't think it really matters about the box office of the Paul Anderson movie. I think he's going to get another one if he wants to do one. So,
Probably.
but I mean, probably fair. Fair. You want to know if it's doing well or not? I don't know. Go look.
If
Do
you
a Google
do,
search.
I will tell you. Yeah, but thank God there was something there that could have told him how it did at the box
Fucking
office,
no.
man. Jeez, imagine if
Yeah.
there wasn't. Do people just want facts on YouTube? Do they not want to be entertained? I don't understand. I don't know what people want. Send us memes, send us news, send us reviews, guys. Tell us what you think about these movies. DL, do you want to preface our main topic this week?
It's the main topic theme.
Yeah, this week we're doing The Running Man, which the
Woo!
original, I forget what year it's from, somewhere in the 80s, surely.
I'm not going to say it was the year I was born in, but it was definitely 1987.
Okay, cool. Somewhere in the 80s, and it's kind of in the zeitgeist with the remake coming out with that one dude, Hangman.
Glenn Powell, yeah.
Yeah, Glenn Powell.
So interestingly, that's a movie I'm really excited for. That's with Edgar Wright.
Glenn Powell's agent deserves a raise. He's doing like all the right things to make this guy a blockbuster.
So
like
much.
That's a good
So
remake
much.
choice.
Isn't it? He is in the right amount of movies too. We've talked about stars recently who are in too many things. Pedro Pascal, perfect example. He is doing the right amount of movies.
He's pushing it though.
He's up there. He's right up there.
He's doing it in a way where like I'm on board.
Okay, we're gonna talk about that movie in a little bit as well, because this is obviously based on a Stephen King novel. It was written under a pseudonym, Richard Bachman, but
I didn't know that.
yeah, right. So this movie we're going to talk about today, the 1987 version, doesn't stick anywhere near the novel, and I'm going to tell you why when we get there. I've got some interesting notes on that, but it's The Running Man in name and concept only, let's say. Whereas that new movie, the Edgar Wright one, apparently is going to stick significantly closer. So I think there's going to be more to that film. I think it's going to be super interesting. But
Well, that's
we're
good.
going to do full spoilers. And before we do you have a stupid plot summary?
Yeah, this is Hunger Games with peak Arnold and 80s cliches done right, I would say.
Nice. Mine isn't terribly far off that. It's Gladiator with all the I can do this. Gladiator with all the subtlety of Takeshi's Castle episode meets Black Mirror on literal steroids. It's pretty much what it is. You chuck a bit of Takeshi's Castle in there, a little bit of danger, a little bit of steroids. You can pretty much get this movie. And this is from Paul Michael Glazer, who you definitely know as Starsky from Starsky and Hutch from the 80s. So he had been chipping away at this went through a bunch of directors. There's a bunch of I'm going to talk about this in a minute as well, I think, with you. I think one of the things when we talk about these old 80s movies and stuff that I find most fascinating is the background of most films. It's almost more interesting than the film sometimes. Like in the 80s and such, there's just no way that people would have found out about this stuff. Whereas now it's all documented on the internet and people have done, look backs or DVD commentaries and stuff. And you find out all these little cool tidbits,
Yeah.
all about the films. And it's so interesting. And like this, it's a fine movie, but some of the stuff in the background's so interesting. I'm like, this is great. You mentioned it has Arnold Schwarzenegger as Ben Richards, who is the butcher of Bakersville. There's a couple of people you may or may not know in this. Yaphet Kotto, who you will know from Parker in Alien. It's got Jim Brown, who's an actual real-life NFL player who played Fireball. Jesse Ventura, everyone knows from wrestling as Captain Freedom. Kurt Fuller, who is an amazing that guy, who's in Ghostbusters 2, is just in this film. His role is like almost blink and you miss it. He's great. And obviously know about Richard Dawson, who plays Damon Killian, who's effectively the villain of this film, the TV show host, being a real life TV host. You know that, right?
I didn't, but I'm gonna just say yeah. But look, he played it well. Didn't have to act too hard. Yeah,
didn't have to do jack all. He was just full on in this. What happens in the film, DL? What's the plot of this?
I mean, it's like post-apocalyptic as you are, and in this world that is basically
dystopian, baby, my favorite.
Yeah, controlled by, I guess, money and power. Like they didn't really dig into that, but I guess money and power.
The opening crawl pretty much tells you that.
Yeah, they've crafted a show to like capitalize on everything that apparently humans love to see: blood, death, riches, risk it all, greed, which is essentially the Hunger Games, really. If you, from modern interpretation, it's like you throw, you accept it a little bit of a play. You throw one or a couple people into this like gauntlet of things that are going to kill them, with people hunting them, and with the goal of getting some kind of, they're apparently
reward.
Criminals, and the goal is they get some kind of release or even maybe some riches if they, do well enough in this game.
Well,
called The Running
if
Man.
they survive, they get to go on a nice holiday.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about it. This film has some really interesting themes to it, which are overshadowed by the severe campiness of it. And I'm really excited to hear whether you cared or were awake enough to like really enjoy them. But first and foremost, I've got to ask my seminal question, which is, if you could remake this movie, removing everyone, replacing them with Muppets, but keeping one actor, who do you keep as the one actor? Who is it? Who is it, DL?
Thought I should be expecting this by now, but still I'm not.
Yeah, you should.
Wondering if it's funnier if the talk show host is just the only human and everybody else is
That was
Muppets.
who I was going to go for. That's the best one.
Or if it's Arnold. Arnold being like, or maybe just like one of the Stalkers being like the human, so that like when Arnold the Muppet just wrecks them, it'd be pretty interesting. Like, I don't know.
Or Jesse Ventura, who we were talking about before. I think he would be fantastic as the only human character in this.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you could take it.
Imagine just giant jacked Muppet Arnold Schwarzenegger. That would be phenomenal. Like, you'd have to do something really weird for him. That'd be
yeah. It'd be like Team America or whatever.
Right. Oh man, I'm gonna have to find a really good cover for this week's episode. I started doing covers with the Muppets and just one human being, so
it's smart.
That's
good stuff.
I think it's got to be, for me, the TV host. I think that whole Richard Dawson performance, but not. He's almost like a cackling Joker in this.
All the betting scenes would be hilarious. Like, give me 200. It's like Ernie and fucking Bert in there, dude.
Give me 300.
Just like, give me that. 200. Yeah, I can see that. I think that alone makes it like worth it.
We need to remake this movie immediately.
This thing. Yeah.
Oh my god, yeah, get AI on it. I didn't even think about that.
It's funny, like we have like all these big AI companies talking about like, oh, the world is changing. We're getting AGI. Give you the tools to do whatever you want. And what do people do? They like make video memes. Like they release Sora, and all that people do are make these like joke memes.
Did you
it's
see?
Kind of like a twisted irony.
Did you see they've had to stop they've literally had to stop people doing Martin Luther King ones? Have you seen it? They put up a genuine thing.
Those are the best ones.
Make Martin Luther King. They are so funny. I mean,
so they're fucking
awful, but they're so funny. Oh my god! There's one where he's like, "I have a dream that all my boys can have big booty Latinas. It's like, hell yeah, man.
But you know what I mean? Like they're like, it's world changing
Totally.
technology, and then like really how people use it is to do, that
What else? What else are we gonna use it for? DL change our lives.
is to put Elmo being like doing a line and being like, give me 20 on this. It's like that's what people really use this ground. Like if maybe there's a bubble.
Oh, stop.
Maybe there's a bubble. Like that might be the front running indicator. Can you imagine like Wall Street? It's just like they see that meme, they're like, it's a bubble.
Yeah, I mean it is. Yeah, it is. Let's be honest, it just is. We need to do that. We need to find a way to do that immediately. Friend of the show, Resident Reegs would absolutely hate seeing that, but I just want to see at least just the trailer for this movie made up of just the Muppets. Wouldn't that be the best? Wouldn't that be the best?
I think so.
I don't know. Question for you, DL.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch this growing up? Was this like part of your childhood?
So I didn't know if I had, but I think there is a bunch of movies of between like the age of 10 and I don't know 15 that I saw of Arnold Schwarzenegger that I had no context to. Like we're just on the TV for whatever reason through an uncle, through a dad, 100%. My dad, through like
yep. They all merged together a little bit.
Yeah, I didn't realize what I'd seen parts of this, but I'd seen most of this movie. So yeah, that was my context going in.
So exactly the same. My context for this was so putting this in a story. When I was growing up, my granddad used to do this thing every time. My granddad was like real Cockney Londoner. Almost to the point to do rhyming slang when he's talking to you. You'd sit there and he'd put a movie on, and he was the most fascinating dude. Fascinating. Lived through the war. Was like he was really young when he was a kid, when the war was on. So he was like one of the first responders. He would sit on rooftops and watch for if there were like any bombs dropping, so he could be like help the first responders get there on time. Fascinating dude. And then went to, I think he went to Africa with one of the many wars we were part of over there, and yeah, so interesting dude. But we used to sit down and watch movies with him when we go and see him, whatever it was, once a month or once every couple of weeks, and without fail, he would sit there and say to us, I don't think I've seen this one. This isn't something I know. And you would get 30 minutes into the film and he would just reel off the rest of what happens in the film without fail every single time. There was no mystique about his movies. He had just seen everything. And a little bit like us, to be fair. And it was exactly the same. I sat down to watch this going, I can't remember if I've seen this. And within 20 minutes, I was like, oh yeah, this. Oh yeah, then he does that, and then he goes off and does. You know what I mean? Like it was that exact thing. So yeah. I don't remember it being like a pivotal part of childhood or anything, but I 100% remember enjoying this. What do you think about it? Do you think it holds up?
I mean, holds up is a broad term. It's I've seen worse. I think it's just like an interesting little history. Like this is for some reason like Arnold for me becomes a caricature of himself at some point, but yeah, like definitely 100%. I think this is not that. Like I don't even know where this is in his filmography, but he seemed younger and more like earnestly himself, like not realizing that he was doing the Arnold, which I found quite endearing, honestly.
Even though he was doing all of his catchphrases.
Yeah.
Listen to this run of films starting in 1982. Conan the Barbarian, Conan the Destroyer, Terminator. We'll ignore Red Sonja. Doesn't count. Commando, Raw Deal, Predator, The Running Man, Twins, Total Recall, Kindergarten Cop, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and then it falls off a little bit after that. But just those movies alone, like you think about some of those absolute classics: Terminator 2, Total Recall, Twins, Predator, like Commando. Like this is peak, Arnie. This is absolute peak. And like you say, I think this is right before he turns into a bit of a parody of himself almost. And I think it holds up. Like if you were to say to me, like, is this entertaining? Which I think is a broad stroke and probably the lowest bar you can need to jump across for a film to be worth your time. Absolutely, it's entertaining. It's so entertaining. It's such nonsensical. I had a really fun time watching this back. I don't know if you think the same. I know you often have spicy takes about these 80s films we talk about.
It's definitely not like it. I'll say this. I was fine with it, having it on. in my watch list of things, like it's just, these kind of movies have a campiness to them that like I don't vibe with the same way other
Definitely.
people might. And it wouldn't be, if not for the pod, it probably wouldn't be in my top 5 things I'm gonna do this weekend.
And for content, my man, and for content, you've got to hit those SEO beats. Running Man's coming out soon. We got to do these things. It's just how we got to roll.
No, it might be interesting to you if you want to know kind of what has come before the one that's going to come out if you're a Glenn Powell fan.
I do think there are some really interesting themes in this of, propaganda, the totalitarian state, censorship, the fact that dissent is criminalized, surveillance, things that in the 80s seemed very sort of kitsch and a little bit like fun almost. Whereas now it's like, oh yeah, you can literally listen to my phone and know everything I do. I think it's got some really interesting tones to it. I don't know if, I know you like stuff like that.
Yeah. I think it was, I don't know how much like the thing about that stuff is like, it's hard for me to realize, put myself in the time of like when this came out. Obviously you had a bunch of books coming out in about like 1984 and that came out way before, but I don't know how like campy every movie has that now. Like there's, and so to me, like having the trappings of like it's more about how does it start? Why is it sustained? Who are the people involved? Are they conflicted? Like that kind of stuff is, if I'm going to watch a dystopian thing, what I look for. Whereas this is just the trappings of like, you're just put here. You don't have a lot of context to how it happened. You got like a really big bad villain, not a lot of gray characters, and some guy who's like the purest of morality who's been lied against. So it's like, that might have been super forward thinking back then, but to me, it's like the trappings of what you'd need to even start a story, right? In that,
well, it's a super interesting beginning to the film, right? So Schwarzenegger's a cop effectively, and he refuses an order to kill a bunch of innocent civilians, and then he gets thrown in the Running Man. So obviously, dissent is criminalized, as I say, and you're right. Like there isn't. I don't see much of a narrative arc for Arnold in this.
That's a big jump, is my point. It's a big jump. Like, I want to know who's on the decision end being like, he said no, kill him. Like, that doesn't seem productive to any kind of police state either.
Right. You got to have loyalty, man. No, but it's interesting. And the film, it's got like a bunch of like states to it almost. Like he starts as a cop, he then goes into prison where he's just lifting his steel girders, weird prison. Does this cool like prison break with a bunch of his buddies.
That was cool. Yeah,
I enjoyed the prison break. Yeah, that was probably the most fun part of the film. Gets caught again and then gets put into the Running Man, which outside of the yellow spandex isn't that interesting. And the thing I think I took away most for this was I watched it maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago, just because I wanted to watch it before we watched the Running Man, the new upcoming one. And then I had it on in the background while I was doing my notes. And I was like, he doesn't actually get into the Running Man until like 40 plus minutes into this film. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? The whole point of this film, get the man in the Running Man. That's all I care about.
I did enjoy the first 40 minutes though. Like
it wasn't bad.
Like the mystique.
Surprisingly interesting. Yeah.
Like the whole underground thing. And like, what did I like about that part? The peripheral characters were kind of fun and like campy too, but
really good.
The tech guy was kind of, it has those 80s tropes that are a bit endearing. Oh, the access code isn't what, just like that kind of thing.
Everyone is a hyped up version of like a caricature. Yeah, I do really like that though. And even when they got into the Running Man, one of them was a tech guy who was trying to take down the
same
network,
guy. Yeah.
Do you remember? Yeah. I really like that they brought that with it.
There's nothing more iconic though than the pre-vacation scene though.
Oh, wait, which one? Oh, where they're in the airport.
Like, what is he think? How does he think this is gonna work?
That's one of my miscellaneous notes before we end. I've got like that scene is just wild.
It might be the worst plan ever. It's just like
bad.
The level. Like, we're just gonna vacation to Hawaii, and I'm gonna bring you along. What's he just gonna hold on to her for like the next
forever
decade of his life until she falls in love with him? Like, what is the thought process here?
Did they fall in love at the end of this? I felt that it's like Munchausen syndrome if they did.
I don't know if they fell in love, but they definitely were told, you're going to have a sequence with the most fire 80s song ever in the background where you just slowly look at each other and approach for a,
Mate, the music was amazing. Stop.
Kiss.
I loved that about this film. It was so camp. It was amazing.
I don't know if they fell in love. Do you call that love? Yeah.
Maybe. I call it Munchausen syndrome personally. Well, I'll tell you what did work for me then. Like, it is like a campy, almost prophetic take on what reality TV show is now. And like, you look at some of the things going on in the world and the way it's reported on. It has that sort of angle to it. I thought that was really fascinating, and couldn't get past that. Like, there was the nonsense, there was the funniness, there was the silliness, there was the yellow spandex, but it did feel quite forward thinking for a movie set the year I was literally born.
Yeah, I think it was kind of spot on in the sense if you just like substitute group violence and blood with like sex appeal and hedonistic like tendencies for like pleasure, that's basically what reality show and greed. Like, I want to be insta famous, so I'm gonna do some hedonistic shit on Love Island. That's you could quickly. It's a veneer of something else, but it applies directly
That's
to that.
what you've been up to. That's what you've been up to. You've really been watching Love Island, haven't you? I can see it in your eyes. I know you've watched every episode.
I haven't, but I know. I think I know what goes on.
So we talked about differences from the book. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. But like, what did you think of the world? Because like, obviously, it's supposed to be dystopian, but there's also this like, I genuinely really liked the scenes you were talking about where it's shot in the studio, where there's everyone in the back and they're sort of making bets on who's going to die first and stuff. It was really grim, and like they'd all obviously very much embraced this gritty, bleak world, almost neon dystopian future they're in, and the ones who had made it, quotation marks, in the studio seemed cool with it. I'm like, oh, it's interesting, isn't it? If you're part of the majority, if you're part of the minority who's winning, you could turn a blind eye to everything else.
Yeah, I would have liked more. Like, that's, I think, a character I would have liked to have perspective with, in this movie, somebody who's in there.
Yeah, right. Well, they would have interesting scenes.
Yeah, all the like consumers of this, like they have the plausible deniability of like it's propaganda. They don't know. They thought this guy killed a bunch of people. They saw video edited stuff that like showed it, which is interesting. That an interesting thing to apply to today with like that Sora conversation. But
Right.
the perspective of someone who knows it's fake and is a part of it. We only really got that with the female character. I forget her name.
I was going to say, do you think Amber Mendez in this, do you think that was kind of the perspective they were trying to show with her coming round to the realization?
Yeah, that's clearly.
Even though she worked in the back end, she must know that things were edited, right?
Oh, she did work there, didn't she?
Yeah, she literally worked creating the jingles for them.
She did, but she didn't. She went on her own journey of like self-discovery that it was all edited, rather than like directly participating in it. But that is the angle I would have liked from someone who kind of was doing
something a bit more fitting.
Yeah,
a little bit. What do you think of the performances then? Obviously, Amber Mendez is historically campy in this, like wildly just like so stereotypical female in these movies.
I kind of felt like her reaction though was what how I'd be reacting in most situations. Like, bro, stop holding me. I'm trying to run. like there's a lot of I vibe with her take on most things.
I liked when she got chucked into the Running Man too. It was almost like they twisted the narrative around her.
Zero tolerance policy. Yeah.
Clearly, yeah. I was like,
one is like 0 to 100 there.
Yeah. In no time at all, just like flipped a switch. She was trying to get the Bakersfield footage though, which would have proved that he was innocent. But as I was talking about before, I think that Richard Dawson character, the effective villain of this, Damon Killian, phenomenal. And like you say, didn't really need to act because that was kind of his day job. So I just
only on reruns.
Yeah, that was a great line. I enjoyed that. He did throw out that "I'll be back" there as well. I was a bit
So that was after Terminator.
Yeah.
That's a bit much. Yeah,
totally unnecessary, right? I wasn't. Some of the one-liners in this were so crap as well. Just some of them were just terrible. Like I can't even think of one off the top of my head. They were just bad.
Hey, Christmas tree! I liked that one.
You would like that one.
He did look like a Christmas tree.
So let's talk a little bit about the difference between this movie and the book then. So if you're interested, like I talked about up top, there were a lot of Stephen King adaptations coming out just this year. Walk the Line, there was a horror one.
I think he sold a bunch of stuff or something, yeah.
So the key differences between this so the tone and kind of genre. So the book is way darker and grittier. So it's more dystopian in its I thought this was pretty dystopian, but it did kind of feel like all of the action shots against the Stalkers, who we haven't actually talked about yet, were sort of just set in like a parking garage, and there wasn't much going on. It was just kind of like, just chuck them in there and see what happens. But it's apparently way more of a thriller than this is. So in the book, Ben Richards, the Arnold Schwarzenegger character, he's a desperate man. He's very poor and he's trying to save his sick daughter, which looks a lot like that's the way the Glenn Powell movie's going in this. So he's kind of doing it because he needs the money. It's like, this is his last resort.
Yeah.
I think he's blacklisted in it as well, which as indicates he can't get a job for the most part. In the book, the games, so the contestants made to evade the hunters across country for 30 days. That sounds, again, a lot more like the new one coming up. And the ending, get this, the ending to the actual book, how fucking dark is this? Ben crashes a plane into the network's headquarters in a suicide bombing attack. Is that a bit messed up? Like, what are we doing here? You can see why they changed that shit.
I mean, I go. Yeah.
You're like, okay.
It depends what you're trying to tell. Yeah, what story you're trying to tell. Probably not as consumable for the main.
Right.
Yeah.
That was exactly what I was going to use. The ending to this is way more consumable, and it kind of reminded me a lot of Commando. Just the way he sort of busts in, muscles flaring with a big gun, is like mowing people down. Don't know how far that would get him though. Just killing a bunch of people in a TV studio. You know?
You'd have to think they've got some reinforcements coming if they've got the entire society locked down. But
well, he got the president's he got the president on the line at one point. I enjoyed that. He's like, get the president's agent on the line. Does the president have an agent? Yeah. I don't know. Is that how it works?
I think that's the point they're making. Yeah, it makes me appreciate like these like dystopian ones where these guys like are successful against all odds. It really makes me appreciate how good Andor is, because like they set up plausible deniability for like how it could happen with like season 1 and the prison break and all, where you're like, how could these random shitters take down the Empire? And they really do the hard yards of like setting up that they're just audaciously cocky, and they think they've like basically smited out all hope that like no one would, and just the threat of fear is enough. I think they did like it makes me, when I watch these kind of other dystopian ones, it really puts it in perspective how good a job that showrunner did.
I need to finish season 2. I've still not got around to it. It's every time I turn Disney on, I look at it and go, I should finish that, and then I just don't.
Yeah, it's really good, bad. Man. You should.
It gets better because it started slow. That second season.
I mean, I don't understand people are like, oh, it starts like, yes, stories start slow and pick up. That is why the end is called the climax.
I need,
you know.
Absolutely fair.
Yeah, so you don't just like you don't want to jackrabbit it, like. Although there's a few stories that are good at that, which is like Red Rising is very unique because of that. But
right, it's good to start. It's good to have a little bit of spark at the beginning. You know what I mean? Like a little bit of spark to get the story moving.
No, you definitely need like intrigue and mystery, I think, in the beginning for sure.
Just like the Running Man 1987, he refuses an order.
Hard to do in a prequel where you know everything, but
you know who's going to die, exactly where and exactly when, because there's a literal movie about it.
A bit more difficult.
Yeah, a little bit more difficult. Yeah, look, I think the movie's great. I for an 80s movie, the fanatism of the crowds, everyone involved, plausible deniability that you talked about. There's a lot of subtle themes just wrapped in this campy nonsense. Is there anything else you got to say about it? We can talk about the ending very briefly.
Oh, was it Bonesaw? Is that his name?
Oh, the Stalkers. They were great. We haven't talked about the Stalkers. Why haven't we talked about the Stalkers?
The hockey one as well. The guy that was like clearly like a Maori fucking
giant.
Big ass Maori guy.
Was he Maori?
Oh, no, he looked like he might be. Yeah. I'm just making that up.
I do have a couple of miscellaneous notes which involve just him specifically. Do you want my miscellaneous notes before we talk more about the Stalkers?
Is this the most effective way to go about killing people on ice skates? I think, is that maybe one of them?
That is literally one of the things I was thinking about. But so, I mean, look, I took a slightly different angle. Tommy's miscellaneous notes. Here you go. Sub-Zero, which is a great character name and also went on to be one of the best characters in Mortal Kombat. When he's introduced to the crowd, he just chops a gong in half with his with his hockey stick. And I just had to think to myself, like, do you think they buy a new one every time and he chops it in half every time? Do you think that's his intro? Do you think they just have to keep buying gongs just so he can chop it in half?
Imports, exports, yeah, for sure.
What a waste of fucking money. Absolute nonsense.
I don't know the price of gongs in 2020, whatever. 2017. It was actually said in 2017, which is kind of
which is wild. The actual book was set in 2025, so
Okay.
a little bit of a
Yeah.
foreshadowing for you there. Second miscellaneous notes. In the airport, the attendant just kind of lets them through. So you know when they're trying to like Arnie's trying to force his way through, and because someone behind him's going, "We got a plane to catch, hurry up!"
I can't check
The guy's like,
first,
"Oh,
these
just
dumb
go on
women."
through." Right? Do you like? Could you imagine that happening today?
Dude, that was the most misogynistic 15 minutes of any movie I've ever seen. He's like grabbing her,
Unbelievable.
throwing her around. He's like, my dumb wife always putting things in her purse. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Last time you put my credit card in there, we couldn't find it for a week. Aye.
Yeah. And then he's like, come on through. I'm just like, geez.
Unbelievable.
This is where that was when I was like, Arnold, man, like you really, if your plan is to have this lady fall in love with you in Hawaii, this is a tough start.
Really, really tough. She did not like him most of this movie. There's like 90% of this movie.
I would say like even through being saved multiple times had quite a bit of lip about how he was treating her, you know.
She was really not I mean, he was treating her real bad. He was treating her real 1987.
But that music hit in that last scene.
Yeah.
You play
I'm
cue the
surprised
music,
it wasn't.
whatever song it was.
Yeah.
And then the fog with the red lights, and I mean, who wouldn't be in the mood after that? Yeah.
I mean, look at his muscles. Of course you want him, and he's going to be misogynistic the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Final miscellaneous note was just, I think the Renaissance actually hacked the network with literally like a Casio calculator and a coat hanger. Like the 80s just knows no limits. It was nothing what they hacked it with. I was like, God damn, guys, good on you. You smashed this. We didn't really talk about the rebellion piece. It didn't really factor in it for me as much on a rewatch. It was kind of like it was there and it was happening, but it's not like a big focus of the film.
I liked that main character. The guy had quite a look. The main rebellion guy who was taking off the neck.
I think he's in Fleetwood Mac. the guy with the long hair.
Is he really?
Yeah, he's in Fleetwood Mac.
He's like the
Fleetwood
bassist of Fleetwood Mac or something.
Yeah, I'm gonna find it for you. Keep talking.
That's fucking hilarious. No, I did not. Anyway, I liked his look. There you go.
It's a solid 80s look.
Yeah, I mean, my hair's pretty long right now, so I'm trying to channel.
There you go. It's Mick Fleetwood. And guess what his name is in the film? Mick. Real solid there, guys. Real creative. You've gone way out of your way on this. Love that for you. Yeah, literally Fleetwood Mac, dude. The partner watched a series recently that was, I want to say, loosely based on Fleetwood Mac, but it was as if the author had just taken Fleetwood Mac and just changed the names. I was like,
there's a play, I think, in the West End right now that we're going to go see. I forget, Stereosonic or something. I forget, not Stereosonic, Stereo something. And it's definitely apparently inspired by Fleetwood Mac. I don't know if they've like outwardly said it, but I'll tell you
if you watch this TV show, which I'm pretty sure your partner would love to, it is just the Fleetwood Mac story. Like, as in, I'm pretty sure she didn't change it. The author didn't change any of the details except the names. So good use of find and replace there. And that was Tommy's miscellaneous notes, by the way. That was all of them. That's all I had for this film.
Nice. I didn't really I gave you mine as we went through. Yeah.
There's not a lot of meat to this film. As much as it's an hour and 40 minutes.
There's quite a bit of meat in this film.
I feel like there's a lot of chewing, but there's not a lot of meat. Do you know what I mean?
There is so much protein. It's a lot of medium spandex, dude. There's a lot of meat.
Very true. That spandex does not fit him at all. They've gone like a size too small.
I don't know if any spandex known to man would fit Arnold, to be honest with you. I think that there's no one size fits all with this guy, dude, when it comes to spandex.
I would love to see him try and fit into that. That'd be a fun watch. Do you think they had to sew him in?
Man, that's so homosexual. Oh,
mate, I'm trisexual. I'll try anything once.
Yeah, no, fair enough, dude. I'd love to see him. I'd love to be in between that spandex and Arnold trying to get it on. It's basically what I heard you say. Anyway.
Yeah. I'll lube him up to get him in there. Do you have any tones and themes, things we haven't talked about?
I mean, I think you touched on them all, to be honest. You talked about sacrifice. You talked about the resistance. You talked about, control versus, state versus the people, all that kind of stuff.
Freedom is an illusion.
And I think there's also because doesn't he concede? Doesn't he not kill the Christmas tree guy? There's probably something about don't let don't become what you hate kind of thing.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about that.
But then they kill him later. So.
He basically wins, and then I think the interesting thing I found about this was the consequences, even for the winners. Like the guys who they show a clip, and they're like, "These are the ones who won. Look at them now, living in Barbados or whatever." And no, they were just in the basement all dead. So yeah, it's very totalitarian, this film. Very much that.
Don't believe lies.
Yeah, the editing of the truth as well. That's an interesting one. There was a bit where they claimed that Arnie had been killed by I think I can't remember which one
Like-
of them it was. One of your friends, the Stalkers. Yeah, and they'd.
Not this one.
What are you doing?
It was this
just
spike.
wanking off on the back of your head
Yeah, no, there was a spike that went through his face.
while he's trying to put on his spandex, just like over here, like. Yeah, misinformation. Those things. This has gone real weird all of a sudden. Do you have any 3 best and 3 worst?
Yeah, I liked the betting scenes. I thought they were funny. I liked
Yeah.
I liked how serious the cast of like rebels around Arnold was, because it was
Everyone
such
took
a
it seriously.
it was
Except
pretty
Arnold
funny because
Schwarzenegger.
he was like kind
Yeah.
of like halfway serious, but they were like, this is an acting gig. I'm gonna act. So I thought that like little dichotomy was kind of funny.
I like
what
you can
else,
find these
man?
things in these movies. It's nice that you can find joy.
Yeah, I
in
gotta
them.
find my little idiosyncrasies. I did like the main, like the game showiness of it, and it was kind of like the Hunger Games before the Hunger Games. There's a lot of things you could see might have taken a little node,
A little bit of Squid Game in
a
there.
little nod. Sorry.
Yeah, I like that. I like that too. I like that one of the Stalkers was a literal opera singer. That was fun.
That was pretty funny.
Real weird. His intro was great when he just turns around and does this with his hand and fires electricity at something. I was like, holy shit. Where did you learn to do that? That was a good one. I did like the themes of this. Strongly thematical, even though it was campy and nonsense. Yeah, I agree. I think you got some good bests there. Any worsts? I can feel like you've got a few bubbling.
Dude, honestly, the vacation scene, I don't want to call it a worst, because actually it should be my best, because it was like so hilarious.
It was so bad.
But it was so bad. That's like why it was funny, because it was like, what is going on here?
The sheer machismo
But,
of it and like the masculine
yeah.
energy is just ridiculous. Full of steroids.
What else, man? Like I worst, like it's not worst. It's just it's a 80s movie, man. The you get what you take. The ending
Right.
was kind of odd, where they just like randomly walked towards each other and made out after kind of not having any
Hating
energy in
each
the
other.
entire film.
It was
Yeah.
and there was no chemistry at all in those characters. Just throw it out there.
No.
Zero chemistry.
No.
But if you go
No,
for the
you could
Joey
tell they were
Tribbiani method of acting, perhaps they'd had sex beforehand. So maybe that was what it was. Maybe they were hooking up off
That was
screen.
the issue.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I did just have one. I did have 2 quick final ones. I thought the Stalkers were really shit and got really repetitive.
Yeah.
What, like one of them came in like a go-kart for some reason. What are we doing here?
A go-kart.
And finally, yeah, just there wasn't enough Mark Wahlberg in this film.
It's always a problem.
Let's flip the question. Who would Mark Wahlberg be in this if he was alive and the right age at that time?
You'd
He's
probably
like 50, I think.
You'd probably be a stalker or the main guy.
Ooh, he could be a stalker. I was thinking maybe he could be one of the
The underground.
one of Arnie's friends.
Yeah.
You know, the 2 he gets thrown in with? Yeah, 2 of the underground guys. That'd be a good role for him when he's a younger Mark Wahlberg, probably. Maybe?
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, let's wrap up then. Talk to me. What do you think the current IMDb score is for this?
I have no fucking idea. 6.
Ooh, it's a 6.6. Not bad.
Okay.
Not bad. 6.6 is pretty bang on average, to be quite perfectly honest, with IMDb.
As far as, yeah,
What about the Rotten Tomatoes score?
it didn't exist when this came out, so it's probably higher. Like people rated up 75.
Oh man, come on, 65. Come on, it's not that good. I know it's got a bit of cult classic status to it, but no one loves it that much.
Rotten Tomatoes is like impossible to like. I don't know, man. You tweak my perspective on things. You're like, people love Arnold in this era. I would have it at like a 55, but like I'm just thinking maybe there's all these people that rate it up.
This is what I'm here for. I'm not here to try and keep you on the straight and narrow. You've got to see through my lies.
Yeah.
What about Letterboxd? It's always 3.6, but never 3.6.
I mean, this will be 3.1.
Ooh, it's 3.2. I thought you had it. You were so close.
That one I felt confident.
And finally, then, we've got to ask our rating system, which is very simply, is this better or worse than the most average movie we know, which is Aquaman 2018, and why? This is a hard one this week.
Yeah, it is actually.
Talking about The Running Man, 1987.
I think I was more entertained by The Running Man.
Really?
I think it's better. Yeah.
Wow. There you go.
I think Aquaman's
So
just kind of boring, dude. This wasn't boring. It was weird.
Yeah, it is kind of boring. And those weird CGI suits they wear are very off-putting.
There's quite a bit of similarity though in the spandexy suits.
There really
One's
is,
CGI,
especially in
one's the
terms
real
of
deal.
color. Ooh, Arnie or Jason Momoa? Peak Arnie.
I mean, like, just this role for Jason Momoa just like isn't as fun a role for peak Jason Momoa as it is for peak Arnie, I would say. I'm gonna
Interesting.
say Arnie.
Interesting. An interesting bit of trivia, which I wish we'd have talked about and I totally forgot to, was that this role was originally intended to be given to Christopher Reeve, who was Superman, who you remember back in the day. That's a
What
different
a
movie,
different
right?
movie
Like,
that would be.
wildly different. Like, everything about it is totally different. And, like, I feel like that would be closer to what the original book was. You know? Like, I feel like you'd have
Yeah.
to change that. You can't have him as this big, bruising 80s action star. Like, that just doesn't work.
No, this was clearly written a bit for Arnie after he was cast. They have a bunch of lines that are clearly that.
100%. I reckon this is probably. Oh, I'm gonna really go against my sensibilities here. I think this is worse than Aquaman.
Well,
Oh man, I mean, I have watched this twice in a very short amount of time, and I can't tell you I want to watch it again anytime soon. I'd rather watch a Commando.
oh, I haven't seen Commando.
Ah man, I'd rather
Keep
watch
talking
Commando or
about it.
Predator. Predator is phenomenal. We need to watch that. There's a new Predator film coming out. I want to watch that at some point, even if we did it for something not podcast assemble full episode. I just want to watch it again. Okay, then let's do this. Let's wrap up with some trivia true or false. You want some trivia true or false, DL?
Know it.
Let's do it. Okay. Trivia true, trivia false. The footage of the attacking helicopters is actually from King Kong 1976. Is that true or is that false?
False.
It's true. I don't have any other
Yeah.
information. Oh, and this is all IMDb trivia, by the way. So this could be us.
So who knows?
So yeah, who knows? But that, according to IMDb trivia, is true. I find that really interesting. Okay, trivia true, trivia false. DL, you will like this one. Charlie Brooker, the writer of Black Mirror, called out The Running Man as being the key influence behind season 1, episode 2's 15 million merits, with the story parallels being both set in dystopian societies where people are exploited for entertainment and freedom is an illusion. Is that true or is that false?
I mean, I haven't seen it, so I'm just gonna go with true.
Ah, you fell into my trap. I gave you too much information. You know when I give you too much information, it's false. Yeah, I made that one up. I thought I quite like the idea of there being parallels with Black Mirror. I mean, there are definitely some somewhere along the line. So false,
There
not
you
true.
go.
Charlie
Thanks.
Brooker. I couldn't find anywhere where Charlie Brooker had said any of his stuff was influenced by The Running Man, 1970, 1987. All right, trivia, true, trivia, false. Many people who worked with Richard Dawson on the game show Family Feud when he was on it in 1976 say that the real life Dawson was more like his character from this film, the villain Damon Killian, in handling his underlings. Is that true or is that false?
That feels true.
Is true. There were a lot of rumors that he was a pretty bad dude, which I don't care to look into.
I think a lot of these guys, and gals, Ellen, same thing,
Well, right. Well, there's a great scene in this where he's just like, I'm going to give my number one fan a kiss. Could you imagine doing that in 2025? That would not go down well. Okay, finally then. Trivia, true, trivia, false, DL. When asked in the beginning to join the rebellion against the government, Ben Richards, who's Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, says he's not really into politics. True or is that false?
False.
It's true, but the reason I like it is because Arnold Schwarzenegger himself actually ended up going into politics. As you well know, he ran for governor of California and was in it for
Yeah, well, I was living
2003 and
there.
2011.
State was never better.
So it's run by a foreigner. Of course it was. I like that dichotomy of the film version versus the real version. It's interesting. DL, I enjoyed watching this film, but I don't think it's one of my top 10 Arnold Schwarzenegger films. Is it one of yours?
Top 10?
Maybe top 5. Let's say top 5. I don't have that many films I care about.
I was gonna say I don't even know.
Oh, he's got a lot of good films. I'll be very quick. I'll rattle off 5 better than this from his back catalog. The Terminator, Commando, Predator.
Terminator
I'm
2.
gonna even say Terminator 2, obviously. Where's the one I'm looking for? Last Action Hero. We've talked about
Total
True
Recall.
Lies, Total Recall. All of these
Yeah.
significantly better
Not
than
in his
this
top
movie.
5.
It's definitely not in his top 5. Maybe not even his top 10.
I can't go that deep.
Conan the Barbarian's very good. I enjoyed that a lot. Oh, he's got some good films here. Red Heat's good. Twins is good. Kindergarten Cop's good. Okay, I'm gonna stop saying Arnold Schwarzenegger movies. This is all right. This is good. I had a good time rewatching.
I've seen like literally 3 of those.
What?
4 maybe.
You need to dive headfirst back into the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I've seen Predator. I've seen Terminator 1 or 2 maybe. Some parts of them. Not even all of them.
Of course you've seen The Predator, because you are the stalker of the pod.
Yeah.
Dale, do you want to wrap up the show?
Yeah, big thank you to Matthew Bliss for editing and mastering this week's episode.
Thank you,
if
Matt.
you'd like Matt to be part of your pod team pod, get in touch on business@mbpod.com or head to mbpod.com to find out more about his services. If you want to hear his work, listen to Rethink Podcasting.
And you should.
Short thought pieces on topics of podcasting. I don't even know. Maybe they share coffee too. Do they share a cup of coffee over that? Maybe.
I don't know. They should. They absolutely should.
Combination
Bring
of
back
both.
the coffee, the podcast.
His old one and his new. Otherwise, just send us some stuff, man. Send us what you think. Give us feedback if you've gotten this far. We can hear from you. Go ahead,
If
Tom.
you've got this far, are you okay? Are you sure you're okay? How are you doing?
Yeah.
Send us an email. We'll make sure you're doing fine. You can find us at podcastemble, thepodcastemble@gmail.com. As always, give us a 5-star, give us a like, and subscribe. All those things. We'd love it if you would. DL, tally ho, baby.
Later, skaters, tally ho, toodaloo.